I introduce you to the leader of Reform Wales to introduce the manifesto, Dan Thomas.
Thank you, everybody. It's amazing to be a party leader that has the full support of the membership. And I'd just like to thank Nigel for coming down to Wales yet again. This is the 6th time in 6 months that Nigel's visited Wales. Compare and contrast that. Compare and contrast that to Keir Starmer, who I think's been here twice. He didn't show up for the Caerphilly by-election. And he does not support Wales, unlike Nigel, and we all look forward in a few years' time to putting Nigel in number 10. And it's good to be back in Newport, a city that has a proud history of ordinary people taking on the establishment. In this very city, in 1839, the Chartists took a courageous stand to demand fair elections and reform of the democratic process. They were the original People's Army, and many of the democratic rights that we enjoy today, including the secret ballot, that was born from their courage. And we owe it to them and future generations to protect democracy and to ensure that undemocratic practices such as family voting have no place in these Senedd elections. And the Chartists were brutally resisted by the establishment of the day, and their allies in the press did everything they could to discredit them. But history teaches us a powerful lesson. A desire for democratic change always prevails. And today, the Welsh establishment is a tired Labour Party, propped up by Plaid Cymru. And for too long, they have taken Welsh support for granted, safe in the knowledge that there was no credible alternative. And the result? Large sections of the electorate have lost faith in politics. They have been disenfranchised by the back door. But thankfully, things are changing. There is a new People's Army ready to take on Labour and Plaid. In 63 days, we will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for real positive change in Wales. Welsh voters have rekindled their Chartist spirit and they are ready to evict Labour from the Senedd. Wales is ready for change and reform is ready for government. So today we launch our manifesto, an action plan to support Welsh families and Welsh communities and Welsh jobs. And that's what sets us apart from the other parties. While they promise hope, Reform promises action. Because Wales has lived in hope for far too long. Hope doesn't pay the bills. Hope doesn't create jobs. Hope doesn't reduce NHS waiting lists or improve exam results. Now is the time for action. Now is the time for a reform government that will put the people of Wales first. And we will put the people of Wales first by only spending your taxes in Wales. Reform will not be sending your money abroad to fund foreign aid and tree planting in Uganda, and we will close those Welsh government offices in China. We will spend your money where it's needed most, on our NHS, our schools, our own children, our own elderly. We cannot justify sending your money to other countries when 1 in 4 people are on NHS waiting lists and 20% of our children are leaving primary school illiterate. And as a united kingdom, we cannot justify the billions of pounds that we spend on illegal economic migrants who come here on small boats organised by organised criminals. The equivalent of 15% of the Welsh Government budget is spent by the UK on so-called asylum seekers. And the nation of sanctuary encourages illegal migration. So reform will scrap it in our first weeks of government. And we will prevent hotels and HMOs from housing illegal immigrants and asylum seekers. And if we must amend planning law or pass new legislation to achieve it, then so be it. And to those who say that immigration isn't an issue in Wales, it is amongst the top 3 concerns of the Welsh public, and Reform is the only party that is listening. And my message to certain sections of the media and our political opponents: do not conflate concern over immigration, both legal and illegal, with racism or intolerance. It is perfectly possible to embrace our long-standing, legally established and integrated minority communities whilst wanting to control immigration today. And many of our reform supporters are from such communities. Now, Plaid Cymru will use the word division very freely. It's their second favourite word after hope, which is ironic, given their hope for independence will divide the United Kingdom and the Welsh public. The Plaid leader says he would use his time in government to make the case for independence, but I'm sorry to break it to him. The Welsh people want the Welsh Government to focus on the day job, to fix the NHS, improve exam results and get Wales building. They want a government to make Wales better off, not to break us away from the Union, which will do the opposite. Reform will focus on the powers we already have to make lives easier for hard-working families, to help with the cost of living. For 7 years, the Welsh Government has had the ability to cut income tax. Well, Reform will be the first party to use this power and reduce income tax by 1p in the pound at the end of our first term. This will put £400 back into the pockets of working families, or the equivalent of a £600 pay rise for the average family. And we all know that energy bills are too high, driven up by net zero policies and dependence on expensive energy. So Reform will scrap net zero targets and expensive green subsidies. We will encourage and facilitate reliable nuclear energy by working with the UK Government to expand nuclear energy capacity in Wales. And council tax is one of the largest household bills for most families, and Welsh councils have been fleecing residents with an average council tax increase of over 7%. Reform will end this extortion. We will cap annual increases at 4.99%, and if councils treat that cap as a target, we will lower it further. Now, there's always a limit on what government can do to improve family finances, and strong job opportunities are the real path to doing well in life, and jobs are created by business, not government. So reform will make it easier for companies, large and small, to invest and operate in Wales. CBI Wales recently confirmed that congestion on major Welsh roads is a major obstacle to economic growth. So unlike Labour implied, reform will be ambitious for Wales. We will not shy away from major infrastructure projects because the prize of real economic growth is too great to forfeit. Reform will reverse Mark Drakeford's ban on building no new roads, and we will build the M4 relief roads. We will upgrade the A470 and the A55 North Wales Expressway. Improving traffic flow will help increase the flow of inward investment, and this is a simple fact that Labour and Plaid cannot grasp. And Labour will listen to the 500,000 people who signed the petition to scrap the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. In the first few weeks of a reformed government, we will start the process of reversing this blanket speed limit, and we will also stop councils introducing pay per mile and road user charge schemes. Those schemes are simply designed to extract more cash from drivers. So Welsh drivers will no longer be cash cows for Labour and Plaid Cymru councils. Our message to Welsh drivers is simple. Vote reform to end the war on motorists. And for too long, Labour and Plaid have been happy for Wales to provide low-pay, low-skilled workforce. They're frightened of what will happen if people have the opportunity to do well for themselves. But reform embraces success and ambition, and we know the people of Wales will thrive if only they have the right opportunities. So we will encourage and incentivise companies to relocate their head offices to Wales, as well as their factories and workshops. We will do all we can to stop the brain drain and provide our school leavers with lifelong careers here in Wales. And Labour and Plaid have been holding Wales back, and now is the time to break free from their grip and let Wales thrive. And we want Welsh hospitality and tourism to thrive. So we will use Welsh government powers to ensure hotels, pubs and restaurants aren't paying more business rates than their counterparts in England. And we will scrap the tourist tax. Now, we are very fortunate in Wales to have farmers who work to high standards, producing the best lamb, beef and dairy in the world. Yet we are becoming increasingly dependent on imported food, a huge risk in these uncertain times. So reform will work constructively with farmers and farming unions to safeguard food security, grow exports and strengthen farm-to-fork supply chains. We will reform the sustainable farming scheme and work with farmers to reduce paperwork and livestock constraints. We will incentivise food production and give farmers more choice about the environmental work that they sign up to. And for too long, agricultural policy in Wales has been driven by ideological targets and excessive regulation. and this has led to falling confidence, rising costs and growing uncertainty across rural Wales. Reform will change that. We will continue to press the Westminster Government to reverse the punitive changes to inheritance tax. We will provide multi-year funding for young farmers' clubs and their events. And we will set up a new national rural apprenticeship scheme that will create employment opportunities for young people and boost labour supply in rural areas. Reform will help the farmers of today whilst nurturing the farmers of the future. And Wales has a proud tradition of people caring for each other, yet our NHS is failing people who rely on it the most. Hospitals are struggling, ambulances are delayed, patients wait for months for the care they desperately need, and children, the elderly and the most vulnerable are left waiting in corridors while overworked staff do their best under impossible conditions. A reform will keep the NHS free at the point of use, while taking decisive action to fix what is broken. And that means cutting waiting lists, ending corridor care and restoring safe, high-quality standards in our emergency departments. We will expand surgical hubs and rapid diagnostic centres so that treatment is delivered quickly and efficiently. We will deliver a new dentistry school in North Wales to address the serious shortage of dental practices there. We will support our NHS workforce, doctors, nurses and carers with training, flexible working and better retention measures. Our top medical talent must stay in Wales and not be pushed into the private sector. And GPs will have the resources they need to serve communities, and pharmacy services will help reduce pressure on overstretched practices. Cancer care will no longer be a postcode lottery. We will launch a 10-year cancer survival plan, investing in diagnostics, treatment and mobile screening for the communities that need it the most. And the people of Wales deserve a healthcare system that works for them, not one that lets them down. Reform will deliver that system, but we won't micromanage it. And I believe that politicians should not be managing public services. There are well-paid executives who should be doing that, and it is the politicians' job to hold them to account and set high expectations on behalf of the people. As First Minister, I will set the highest expectations for public sector directors that Wales has ever seen. And there will be real consequences for failure, because we're talking about people's lives, their health, and about our children's future. Every decision, every action, every delay, it has a human cost. So those at the top will be held accountable. And if you are paid like a chief executive, you must perform like one. Our education system is struggling. Children only get one chance at education, and we cannot afford another 10 years of drift. So we need to support our teachers, restore standards and discipline in schools. On skills and apprenticeships, Labour are busy massaging the figures, which is an acknowledgement of failure. Wales needs honesty in reporting and seriousness in delivery. Skills policy must be about real outcomes, not spin. And reform supports our nurses, teachers, police officers, social care staff and council workers. They work hardest when the system fails. They deserve leadership that backs them, not red tape that burdens them. And our manifesto is a serious action plan to turn Wales around, to fix public services, restore pride and ambition, and get Wales building again. It is rooted in common sense, fairness and accountability. And Reform's leadership in Wales will be bold. It will be demanding. It will serve the people or answer to them. We will create a culture where results matter, excellence is rewarded and failure is addressed swiftly, not brushed aside. Ministers will intervene when the public sector isn't delivering. If a council isn't delivering enough homes, we will step in because we must address the housing shortage. And Reform will prioritise local people and veterans for social housing. And we will ensure that new social housing is the same quality as its private counterpart, so we can all be proud of where we live, regardless of whether we rent or own. The simple truth is that Plaid and Labour have lost any sense of pride. They're out of touch and out of time. After decades in power, they defend systems instead of reforming them. They explain failure instead of fixing it. And Plaid Cymru has been part of this failing system. They supported Labour through a formal cooperation agreement. They've had the chance to challenge a failing system, and they chose to sustain it. Plaid cannot deliver the real change that Wales needs because we cannot pretend the parties that broke Wales are the solution. We know that this is our last chance to turn Wales around, and we take that responsibility seriously. We ask for your trust. We are ready to earn it, ready for government and ready to act for you. Wales has been let down, but our best days lie ahead. Wales needs ambition. Wales needs action. Wales needs reform. Thank you.